I want to talk to you today about Christian higher education, about our church colleges. Again and again, people ask, why should my children go to a church college? Why should I support a church college? In comparison with other schools, what is different about these colleges? Well, to answer some of these questions, I want to tell you a story which I call The Difference. It's the story of a boy named Paul Reed, a cocky sort of lad who enrolled in one of our schools a little against his will. On the day he left for college, he stopped off at his uncle's office.
Here, Myrtle, let me show you.
Hiya, Francis.
Hello, Paul.
Hi, you're new around here.
Hello.
Who's that?
That's Paul Reed, the boss's nephew. Someday he'll be boss around here.
Expect you to turn in a good piece of work, boy.
I'll do all right.
Too bad I couldn't get your mother to send you to Douglas University instead of this church college. Everyone knows Douglas. It's big stuff. Big campus, big buildings, big football, big everything.
Sure, but Mother was set on Lutheran Memorial College, so that's that.
And with that pastor of yours backing her up, I didn't make a dent. Well, let's make the best of it. But I hope with this religion they don't forget to teach you how to get along in business.
Don't worry about me, Uncle Bill. I've learned a thing or two since we came to live with you.
I have great plans for you, boy. Here's your father's office. He always dreamed you should see him. In 4 years' time, that's where you'll sit. I've made up my mind some way or other we're going to build up this business till we practically eliminate competition.
Yeah, but 4 years is a long time to wait.
You'll be through before you know it. But don't let them soften you up with this Christian point of view. Business is dog eat dog. Practicing the Christian religion in business just doesn't work out.
Listen, Uncle Bill, this organization you build up proves that. Don't worry, I won't let them put a thing over on me.
Atta boy. Now get out of here. I got some work to do.
Okay, so long, Uncle Bill.
Goodbye.
So Paul arrived to start his freshman year at Luther Memorial College, remembering every word of his uncle's advice.
That schedule will work out all right for you, Miss Thompson.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson.
Next.
This is what I figured out. Schedule looks okay, I hope.
Well, Mr. Reed, there are certain courses prescribed for freshmen. That to include religion.
Why do I have to take that? I want to get right down to what I need for business.
Prescribed course, Mr. Reed. I think you'll find it will help you in what you want to do.
Well, why do you have to take something you don't want?
Sorry, Mr. Reed, this is it.
Well, hello, Doc.
Mr. Don White himself. Hi, Don. Have a nice summer?
Worked hard. I was a floor jockey in a supermarket. So I just got an earful of Mr. Reed. Sounds like we sophomores will be especially interested in him.
Next. Some scientists insist that life on this earth is nothing more than an accidental arrangement of atoms. As for me, every day increases my conviction that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. This is a created universe, with God as the creator. And I hope that before we're through with this course, all of you will come to believe that too. Now and when? That'll be all for today. Thanks.
So this is biology, huh?
Biology is more than cutting up cats and worms, Paul. Maybe it's trying to find the right meaning to life.
Yes, Miss Thompson.
What's the matter with you anyway? You ridicule everything.
Oh, we could stand a lot less of this blarney. What I want are facts.
If you dislike this college so much, why did you come here?
I still can't figure that out for myself.
Well, why don't you give the college a chance, Paul? You'll find it's really got something.
Want to see you, freshman. What's your name, sis?
Barbara Thompson.
Put on your beanie when you get outside, Reed, and keep it on.
Okay.
Now, we've been watching you. You know, you'd better get in step with the rest of the freshmen. You didn't show up for the freshman-sophomore song fest. You skipped out on the meeting to plan stunt night. And for a freshman, you've been off campus too many nights. You know, you better brush up on these freshman rules, Bob.
Let's cut out the kid stuff.
I'm serious, Reed. One of these days, we're going to pull you up before the sophomore council.
One more thing. Cut out this boy and girl stuff. You know the rules. No dates for freshmen for 2 months. So, Miss Thompson, wouldn't you prefer not to be seen with this guy?
Well,
Miss Thompson, the sophomore council wouldn't like your hesitation.
well, yes, then.
And wouldn't you rather welcome me to my next class?
Answer the man.
Yes.
Just as I thought. Goodbye, Reed.
Morning, Dean.
Good morning, boys. What's going on?
Tradition committee got too many complaints about freshmen cutting chapel.
Don't be too harsh. Keep it voluntary, you know.
Sure thing. No trouble about upperclassmen. They come by tradition. This is just to get the freshmen into the habit. Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
And by coincidence, hello, stranger.
What do you mean, stranger? I'm here.
Sure. But we bet that Barbara heard about the checkup and dragged you over.
So what?
So nothing. Just keep coming. Same time, same place.
Come on, Barbara.
At Lutheran Memorial College, it is customary to have a student speaker at chapel from time to time. Today's talk will be given by Don White, pre-seminary student and member of the Student Religious Council. Mr. White will talk to us about the council's emphasis for this college year. Don?
The Student Religious Council's emphasis in all its programs and activities of this year will be the statement of St. Paul, whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Against these words, we will examine our relationship not only to our life and work here on the campus, but to our future jobs as well. For one of the basic aims of Luther Memorial College is to prepare us to live our Christian faith in everything we do, at home and in our business and professional life.
The big shot's really trying to dish it out.
All that we do, whether as engineers, doctors, teachers, businessmen, or housewives, should be done to the glory of God. Each of us must feel himself called by God to live as a Christian. And whatever we say, whatever we do, must be a personal demonstration of our Christian faith. Christ's prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane, not my will, but thine, must be our prayer and our promise to God.
Uncle Bill would love this. This guy White ought to get his feet on the ground.
This emphasis is one of the important tasks of the Student Religious Council for this and every year.
Nice talk Don White gave today.
Sounds good in chapel, but it just doesn't work out in business.
Oh, no? Why not?
It's not practical. Business is dog eat dog. You don't stay in it long if you run it like a Sunday school class. Ask any businessman.
Any businessman?
My uncle would back me up.
I disagree with you, Paul. I think Don's on the right track. Sure, a lot of guys operate on a dog-eat-dog basis. Maybe they do make a lot of money, like your uncle. But what does that prove?
It proves it's the only way to operate.
I still believe that a real Christian can do okay in business, too. I'm gonna try it.
You guys are a bunch of blue sky peddlers.
Hey, Reed, you do a lot of blowing about big business. Have you ever worked at a job?
Not exactly, but...
Well, some of us have, see. My dad's a carpenter. I work with him every summer, mostly to get enough money together to come back here. My dad's got 4 men with him now, doing better all the time. I haven't seen him put the squeeze on anybody.
My father's printing plant is one of the biggest in the state, and he tries to be a Christian.
Okay, you do it your way. I've got mine.
Look, Paul, it isn't any of my affair, but if you don't change your attitude, you'll wind up the most lonesome man on the campus.
Well, that's how Paul got off to a bad start. Nobody seemed able to do much with him, and things weren't much better the next year. Dean Conrad talked with him again and again. Many of the students tried to work with him, but it didn't do any good. Oh, he made some friends, but they were boys who needed as much help as Paul did. So, as Barbara predicted, things reached a climax. It was the end of Paul's sophomore year.
Come in.
Good morning, President Scott.
Hello, Jim. Why so formal? Always makes me suspicious you want my approval for an additional faculty member or something.
No, not this time.
Sit down.
How was the trip?
Oh, I'm dog-tired. This living out of a suitcase is no joke. But it was worthwhile. When people hear what we're trying to do, when they understand that we're an arm of the congregation serving their youth, they respond.
Meeting people everywhere as you do is part of college life that Dean misses.
But you don't miss as much sleep, Jim.
I came to see you about Paul Reed. His grades are still poor. I'd like you to come in on this case. Dr. Nelson and I discussed it again yesterday. Through his attitude, the boy shuts himself off from friendships. And by his idling, he's ruining his opportunity to learn something.
Talked with him lately?
Only last week. But no matter how we try to work with him, he resists.
Too bad. He's bright enough to do a fine job.
Oh, he has what it takes, but he wastes it all.
What do you suggest?
Talking to him doesn't do any good. I think we ought to do something that will make him face real facts. I think the time has come for him to decide whether or not he wants to continue here.
I think you're right, Jim. I'm sorry that we found it necessary to have you in to see us again, but something has to be done about Paul. As you must be aware through his grades, he hasn't done very well in the 2 years he's been here. Dean Conrad has the records.
Just one C and D after another, with the exception of a B in business administration.
I feel very upset about this. I thought he'd adjust himself. Expected him to make good here. What seems to be the trouble? He's not stupid.
That's the point, Mr. Sanders. The boy has real possibilities, but he's dissipating them all.
How, Dr. Scott?
He's not working.
And he won't work, Mrs. Reed, because he has the idea that many of the courses are unnecessary.
Basically, of course, the problem goes back to the fact that he isn't in sympathy with what the college stands for. And so he continues to rebel against everything we try to do. Instead of plunging in to enjoy and learn, he's been resisting and fighting us, the faculty and his fellow students. He's been uncooperative and unteachable.
We've tried very hard to make him one of the college family, Mrs. Reed, but nothing has brought results. He's off the campus too much of the time with the few friends he has, and scholastically, he seems satisfied just to get by.
What do you suggest we do?
Get him away from easy living. Give him hard work, a summer or a year of it. I think you'll find that it'll teach him to accept authority, to listen to advice, to organize himself, and to cooperate.
I think you got something there, Dr. Scott. I believe in work for a man. I started in at 13 selling papers along the docks, and believe me, I never regretted it.
I'm happy that you agree.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll give him a job in the office.
Students would define that as a plushy job, Mr. Sanders. I prefer manual labor for results, a job away from home.
Yes, but I think I better put him to work in my plant where I can keep an eye on him.
These are our suggestions. Something must be done. You see, Paul has a decision to make. If he wants to complete his education here, he must make up his mind to cooperate and to work.
Paul, it boils down to this. I'm disappointed in your college record. I made great plans for you, and you've let me down. I thought you'd get in there and breeze through like nobody's business.
There's two sides to it, Unc.
Oh, yes? Well, it'll take pretty fast talking to justify these poor grades.
Well, you said yourself it was small time.
Is that so? Well, you haven't shown me your big-time stuff yet.
Do I use my father's office?
There'll be no office yet. That will be later when you earn it. Right now, you're going to work in the shop.
The shop?
Yes. Go and get an old shirt, some dungarees, and a lunch bucket.
Cut it out, Unc. This kid's gone far enough.
I'm not kidding. I thought your mother and I had made it clear enough. You get in there and roll up your sleeves and do some real hard work and do some tall thinking. You've only got one more chance to make good at this college.
Okay, if that's the way you feel about it.
Maybe that college has got more on the ball than I thought.
Hey, Jerry!
Well, Paul, glad to see you. What are you doing down here?
Running the business from the lunch bucket up.
Well, I've been looking all over for some of the boys from school. 3 of us worked here last summer. You're the first guy I've seen here this year.
Let's find a place to eat.
Funny finding you down here.
Why?
Sure would expect you'd be up with your uncle.
This is some gag about me thinking over what I'm going to do this fall.
Dropping out of college?
Maybe.
What's up?
Oh, quoting President Scott, I'm unteachable.
No kidding.
Uncooperative and antisocial.
Wow, this is quite a surprise.
Oh, cut it out.
Straight from the shoulder, you've been a tough baby. We tried to help you fit in at school, but you kept fighting us off. We gave you all the breaks, then we gave you the works. But nothing made a dent.
I didn't think you fellas gave a rap about me.
Sure, but it was no use. Why Barbara stuck to you, none of us could figure out. Paul, you only have one enemy at Luther College.
Who? Don't answer that. I know. Me.
Sure. You've acted like a spoiled kid who'd never play the game with the rest of us. Why don't you come back and give the college a real chance?
How?
Well, stop worrying about what a big shot Paul Reed is. Start listening to some other ideas. Just remember what the Student Religious Council's trying to do. That'll help.
You mean this business about doing everything to the glory of God?
That's it. Your uncle's whistling for us.
All right, fellas, let's get moving.
Buzzing around the plant today.
This latest deal your uncle pulled on Brady Manufacturing Company.
How's that? So what's all the talk about?
Well, everybody says your uncle forced poor old Brady into bankruptcy. Brady's a pretty sick man right now.
Mark will just prove to be smarter, that's all.
I'd call it something else.
Sanders don't care for nobody. He shoves Brady out and anybody else that gets in his way. We're on his team, but he'd bounce us like that if it meant something to him.
And I bet that nephew he's got hanging around here will be just like him. See what I mean?
What am I supposed to do?
Well, do the best you can, Eddie.
I've just been checking the progress sheet, and we're behind.
I'm pushing all I can, Mr. Sanders. Usually takes 2 weeks to get out an order like that.
We'll have to go out in less than 10 days this time, or else.
The boys are pushing with all they've got. They're only human, you know.
I don't want to listen to your excuses, too, O'Brien. Just produce, that's all.
Yes, sir.
Whose machine is this?
That's Pop Power.
Why isn't he here?
His wife's awful sick, so he took her to the hospital.
He ought to be on the job when we're pushing out an order like this. Give him his pay and let him go.
Mr. Sanders, you can't fire him like that. Pop's been here over 20 years.
He's through, that's all.
Won't this have to be cleared by the grievance committee?
We'll talk about that when it comes up. By the way, you better stop in my office in a little while. You and I are going to have a little talk.
Yes, sir. I bet that nephew he's got hanging around here will be just like him. Dean Conrad and I read your letter with a great deal of interest, Paul. It sounds like you mean business now.
Yes, I do. I thought a lot about the whole thing this summer, and I got a few things straightened out in my mind.
You must understand this is your last chance. It means a totally new attitude towards studies and campus life.
I realize that.
It won't be as easy as it sounds. You never were a member of the campus family, and it'll be difficult for some of the students to accept you now. Of course, we'll help you all we can, Paul, but the rest is up to you.
I'll do my best, sir.
It's been arranged for you to room with Jerry Beck. He'll prove a good friend.
Yes?
The Indian student, Cheetah Ranjan, has completed registration and is waiting to see you.
In a moment, please. Well, Paul, we're happy for your decision, and we'll look for an A1 record.
Yes, sir.
Now, I have a special job for you. Cheetah Ranjan, whom Miss Beverly just announced, is a new student from our mission field in India. I'd like you to help him feel at home here. Get him settled over at the dormitory. Helping him get into the swing of things won't do you any harm either.
Thank you, Dr. Scott.
Good. Have Cheetah come in.
Yes, sir.
Come in, Cheetah. This is Paul Reed. He'll take you over to the dormitory, help you get settled, and introduce you around.
Good to have you with us, Cheetah.
I'm glad you will help me.
I'll do all I can.
You're on your way already. Man, take a look at that necktie.
Oh, I bought it in New York because I hear Americans like what you say, loud neckties. Well, I want to be a good American, you know. Isn't it what they say, terrific?
Well, I think you boys can go along to the dorm. And remember, if you have anything to talk over, just stop in at any time, here or at my home.
That goes for me, too, boys.
That's very kind.
Thank you, sir. Come on, Cheetah.
You know, Bob, it's one of the great compensations of this work to help a boy start over again.
Yes. I know what you mean.
Paul left the office of President Scott, determined to prove his change in attitude. He accepted Cheetah wholeheartedly, but many were puzzled by his newfound enthusiasm. However, Jerry, his roommate, recognized his sincerity, and soon the three boys became good friends. Barbara, too, believed in Paul and tried to help him win the boys over. But as Dean Conrad had predicted, many did not respond. Paul kept at it, but it was slow going. Most of the differences were too fresh in the minds of the others.
Hi, Don.
Hiya, fellas.
What do you say?
Paul, Cheetah, Jerry. You look comfortable, Don.
Good old campus Knoll. A place to inspire bull sessions if ever there was one.
Sure. My favorite spot.
Glad to be back in harness, Don?
Oh, you bet. I sure hated to be out of college a year, but now I'm raring to go.
It's too bad you missed that time. Things all set now?
Yep. I guess I'll be graduating with you now. Then on to the seminary.
After a year of working for a living, are you convinced a man can still be a Christian in business?
Oh, here we go again. Thought we were rid of the big shot talk.
Why'd you bring that up?
I'm sorry. It's just that some of that preachy stuff you handed out still sort of annoys me.
What's this discussion all about?
Well, a couple of years ago, I gave a chapel talk about the way all of us should live our Christianity in everything we do. Paul here thinks I'm all wet. He doesn't believe a man can be a Christian in business.
But that's what you will be in your uncle's business, won't you?
Pinning me down, huh? I suppose so. If I'm going to be a real Christian.
Your religion wouldn't mean much if you weren't.
It's easy for you to say that. You're all set.
It wasn't so easy.
Why not, Cheetah?
My family is of the lowest caste in India. We are the untouchables. That means we are lower than the animals. Most of us live in poverty, and we have nothing. We are nothing. When I was about 10 years old, I was very sick. But many others were sick too, so no one cared. But one day, a doctor came to our hut and said that this boy must go to our mission hospital. We shall make him better there. My family didn't like this. They didn't want me to go to Christian hospital. But the doctor said he could make me well. So my mother let me go. At the mission, they did make me well. And they also told me about Jesus Christ, who is the Son of God and who cares for me, an untouchable. I came home to my father and mother and told them about this Christ. I told them that these Christian people have made me well. They want me to go to school. They say that this Savior loves even us. We can be his people too.
So you became a Christian?
Can you say no to a God who would take even an untouchable and lift him up?
What made you decide to become a doctor?
Him. Christ found me. He sent the doctor to my hut, and he made me well. Every day of my life, I thank Jesus Christ that he did this for me. Many others are sick in my village, and other villages too. I want to be a doctor, so that Christ can use me to heal others and to bring them to the Christian faith. I've got to do it. How else can I say thanks?
Cheetah's story went down deep. Paul kept thinking of Cheetah's decision, his plans for his life, and what he himself ought to do. As time went on, Paul found it easier to make friends and to enter into college activities. It was during Paul's senior year that he joined the a cappella choir.
Now let's take it once again, this time with the words.
Call a doctor, quick. I'll go. Come on, fellas, let's get him out.
No, I'll stay here till the doctor comes.
Okay, kid, come on, relax.
Well, the worst is over. You'll be out of here in another week. Appendicitis is one of the quickies now.
Sure, but what about midterms next week?
Oh, the boys will bring your notes and assignments over to you, and I'm sure Dean Conrad will work out a later time for your exams.
That'd sure be a help.
Don't worry about it. I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, you might take a look at this book.
I will. Thanks for the visit, Pastor Roberts.
Not at all. See you later, Paul.
So long.
Hi, Paul.
Oh, trying to sneak up on me, huh?
Hiya, fella. Pretty good. We've got something for you, Paul. Notes on the lectures for the last 3 days. Here's philosophy of religion, business administration, and contemporary novel.
You've taken all these notes for me?
Sure, we've got you covered in all your courses.
And that's not all. Listen to this.
Sure, Prof, but how widely is that opinion accepted? Well, take Professor J. Arthur Thompson's statement in The Great Design. He says, we can speak of biological factors, but when we pass backwards until we are confronted with the origin of life...
The biology seminar. You've given me the whole works. I'll hardly miss a thing. Thanks, every one of you. Come on, sit down, Barbara. Pull up a chair, fellas. Come in.
Hi, Paul. Say, how do you feel?
Pretty good. I've been pounding away for midterms tomorrow.
Well, take it easy. Hey, Jerry said you wanted to see me. What's up?
Well, I did a lot of thinking while I was up in the hospital. Tried to figure a few things out better. But I guess I got more confused. Wish I were like you. You always knew what you believed and that you wanted to be a pastor. I guess that's why I got so irritated at you. You were so sure and I was so mixed up.
Paul, I wish that were true.
I guess I'll go to work with my Uncle Bill. But she just got me thinking about medicine, too. I feel sort of a push to help people.
I know how you feel. Most of the time, I think I'm sure that the ministry's for me, but every once in a while I have doubts.
fella can be a Christian in everything he does. In business, too. It says it right here. But what's the right thing for me?
Friday night, I have to give a talk at the student chapel service about why I'm going into the ministry.
I'll be there to hear it.
Right now, I don't know what I'm going to say.
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know, but I'll have to work this out for myself. And please don't mention it to anyone.
I don't get it.
See you later.
I had hoped he'd change his mind and come.
What's going on?
Don White. He was supposed to address the service tonight, but he sent me a note saying he wouldn't be here.
Nobody's seen him all day. I wonder what's keeping him away.
Pastor Roberts, could I speak to you alone a moment?
Certainly. Excuse me a minute, boys.
Has Don spoken to you?
Well, yesterday I asked how he was doing on his talk. He said, so toughy, and walked away.
I'd better go find him.
Yes. I have a hunch what's happened. I wish he'd talked further with me. But you do what you can now, Paul, and ask him to come by and see me at my home tonight, will you?
All right, Pastor.
Thanks.
Don.
Hi, Paul.
What's going on? They expected you up at the chapel.
I couldn't go up there and talk about going into the ministry.
Why not?
Oh, I've walked, sat here, walked some more trying to work it out, but I can't.
But you were so sure about going into the ministry. What's wrong now, Don?
Oh, I've had these doubts before, but I thought I'd settled it all. The ministry was my call. But then one day you wisecracked about me being so cocksure, and I discovered that I wasn't.
I'm sorry. But it'll straighten out again.
Yeah. Maybe I don't have the ability. Maybe I'm not good enough to be a minister. Maybe I'd better do something else.
Is it a question of not being good enough? Or is it the cause getting weaker? Remember that book Pastor Roberts left me up in the hospital? In one place there it says, the reason most men hear no call is they're not within calling distance. I think you're within calling distance, Don. All you have to do is listen to him. Yeah. Listen to him.
This is one of the largest graduation classes we've ever had. Congratulations, Paul. You know, this makes me very happy. God bless you, boy.
Thank you, Dean, for all the help you gave me. Excuse me, please. Don, congratulations, fella.
The best of everything. To you too, Paul.
Thanks, Cheetah. Things work out?
Yeah. I'm going to seminary this fall.
Oh, swell. Things cleared up for me, too. I know where I'm going now.
Well, there you are, boy.
Excuse me, fellas.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's a happy day, Paul.
Congratulations.
Same to you, Barbara. Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Congratulations, Paul. Let's go over to the dormitory and get your things, huh? Goodbye, Mr. Thompson. Like to come over and see your plant one of these days.
I'd like to have you see how we operate. I'll give you a call. We'll have Mrs. Reed and Paul come over, too.
Oh, we've already arranged that. Come on, Dad. I'd like to have you say goodbye to Dr. Scott.
Fine. Paul, those 4 years weren't so long after all, were they? We'll just run up to the shore to relax for a few days and celebrate, and then you'll come in the office with me.
Probably sounds funny, Uncle Bill, but I don't know that I want to.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't think I could work with you. I don't think we'd hit it off well.
Why, we've always hit it off together.
Yeah, but it's different now.
Different?
Yeah. You just run things without any consideration for anybody or anything, except yourself and the company. Just isn't Christian, Uncle Bill. And I realize now that I couldn't go through life that way.
Quite a lecture from a young fellow.
I'm sorry, Uncle Bill, but it's best we get these things straightened out now.
Well, what else?
I used to agree with the way you did things until I worked in the shop 2 years ago. And I saw what it meant to knock out a competitor, the way you did it. And I saw you fire a man during an impossible production schedule. Made me stop and think. For the first time, I questioned your way of doing things. And since then, I've discovered there are many men that run their business on a Christian basis. Why, don't you see, Uncle Bill? That's what this college has been trying to point out to me since the very beginning. I'd love to work with you, but I could do it only on one condition, that we do it the Christian way.
I sort of expected this. Your mother and I have both seen your attitude change, but I didn't think it'd go this far. You know, I haven't much faith in this Christian point of view.
It works for others. I think it'd work for you, too, if you gave it a try.
Well, it'll take some real convincing, but I'll go along with you. We'll see what happens.
Thanks, Uncle Bill. Boy, I bet you never thought it'd work out this way.
Well, maybe both of us learned something from this college.
A lot of schools are larger than Lutheran Memorial, but a church college has something special. You see the chapel out there?
Uh-huh.
That's what makes a difference. This college tries to make us see that Christ is the center of everything we are and have. Tries to help us toward a decision to serve Christ wherever we are and in whatever we do.
So you see, there is a difference in Christian higher education. At its center is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. And now may the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.